It's a little echoey is all, that's all.
Oh,
But it's all right.
can we adjust that?
We as in you? Because we can't do your... Oh. Oh my gosh, I see spirits. Somebody's right next to you, Tiffany.
Oh, boy.
I don't have headphones for you.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yeah. Like I said, if you need something, let me know.
All right, we'll do. How are you doing, Kev?
I'm good. How are you?
That's good. Nice to meet you.
You as well. Are you prepared?
I don't know because I don't know what questions are being asked. So I'm prepared for whatever you have to give me.
All right. It ain't that. I'm talking about how the people gonna be. Oh, girl, you know about that Jesus? About name.
Yep, I figured.
Oh yeah. When Jay sent me this, I was like, I'm sorry, what? Give me 1 second. Jesus in you loves the Jesus in me. You're easy to love.
Really, that happened?
Oh, I can't wait till this room is set up.
How long you been in there, Jason?
Well, I moved into one place August 1st, but then like about a week later, they had moved me to a different apartment within the complex. So I've been in here since Friday. Wait.
So would you say that was about a week ago?
No, tomorrow it'll be a week.
Just real quick. Killed my whole vibe.
You know, I'm the best at killing a joke. No, it's only been 6 days. Hasn't been an actual week. Hey, what's up, everyone in the comments? I'm scared for the comments, but I'm here. Tiffany, don't be nervous.
I think it'll be okay.
Oh yeah, it'll be fine. Stage crew. Shout out to Kat James, hardest working woman in show business. What up, Portia?
Jason.
Yes. Reminds me of my mother. Jason.
Can I change what?
The comments.
Switch to comments.
Oh.
Tony Bynum. What up, Tony?
Wow.
Angela Mathis. Just saying people's names.
Shout out.
Hey. Tiffany. All right. Are you ready, Jay?
Yes, sir.
Are you ready, kids? Aye, aye, Captain.
Ready.
If you get that, we'll tell you how to finish making it as well.
All right.
I love you never want to
in the background?
Huh?
Is there a TV playing in the background?
A TV?
Yeah, I hear like a voice.
Oh, no. That's a whole shop that's behind you.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're at work.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay. All right, Jay.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Ask the Show, where you get to ask questions as someone you may not interact with on a day-to-day basis. It's a place to grow, learn, understand, and educate for everyone. You know what that is, Kev?
That's the glue.
Boom! I'm Big Irish Jay, and
I'm Kev on stage, and this is Ask a Christian Tarot Card Reader with Tiffany Monique.
yeah.
Okay. first things first. What? Jay texted me this and I was like, I'm sorry, huh? This is the devil. I grew up very Christian, and we were taught that tarot card reading, psychics were literally the devil. You are a Christian, you do tarot card reading. How do you reconcile?
Okay, so first of all, I also grew up Christian.
You did?
And grew up Christian in the sarcasm. Cute.
No, I
he's excited.
I'm not even being sarcastic. I thought you did tarot first.
I grew up Christian, like Baptist Southern Christian. Like grew up in my old, my grandparents' house from Macon, Georgia, Christian.
Okay.
And have several variations of Christianity in my family. I've been baptized
twice.
So nice she had to do it twice.
Each time it was for different reasons and different legs of the family. So I've been baptized in the Baptist side and then baptized in the born again side. And then, so I've been gently dunked and then I've been like thrown in, like, I hope you never come back out again type of thing.
Sometimes they be feeling excited with the boy.
Right.
Hey.
Oh, please don't drown. Yes, that.
When I got baptized, a lot of water got in my nose and I came up. It was ugly when I came up. I was,
just pretend like you're into it. Just pretend like, yeah. So this was how I grew up.
Okay.
And how I reconcile it is, one, I have no choice. When I was 8 years old, I was sitting in the living room with my grandmother, and I'm from the East Coast. I'm from New England. And around 7 or 8 o'clock every night, we would watch Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. Sitting in the living room with your grandmother in her chair, you don't say nothing. You're real quiet because whatever she wants to do is what we do. And there was a knock at the door. I went to the door. Nobody was there. I went and sat back down because, I'm 8. I'm old enough to go to the door. Nana's not answering the door,
Right.
So again, someone knocks on the door. I go up. I said, Nana, no one's at the door. She said, all right, sit down. And I said, okay. And she said, Uncle Jake is leaving us tonight. And I was like, what? And she said, Uncle Jake's going to go tonight. And he's just saying goodbye. It's okay. And I'm like, huh? Now, my uncle he was diabetic and had cancer. And he was the first person that I ever saw go through the process of having cancer basically eat you from the inside. And we knew that he was passing. So she goes, yep, it's just, they all do this for me. It's okay. And
hold on. Times. Was Uncle Jake at the door, knocking on the door?
No.
Oh.
No. So she said, they all do this. They say goodbye. And I said, okay. And I said, you heard it? She said, yeah. And I said, should we tell people? She was like, no, you don't tell anybody. And I said, is everybody hear this? And she was like, no. And I said, okay. So that was my first sign that whatever was going on, whether I understood it or not, was going to be taught to me that it was wrong or that it's something I should not investigate, even if it's real. Even if it's something that people within the faith know exists, it's something I shouldn't investigate anyway. So I was like, okay. So I put it in my back pocket and went about my life. And mind you, by midnight that night, we got the phone call. Uncle Jake had passed away. So that's the conclusion to the story. But then when I was going to college, maybe like a year before, so I'm going to say end of junior year, senior year, I had a dream. I dreamt I was going to college. I opened up the door and I talked to my roommate and everything was lovely. Da, da, da. She sat down. I woke up. I didn't think anything of it. Oh, I dreamt I went to school. La, la, la. I ended up going to college, opened the door, and my roommate was standing at the door. And I was like, okay, this is definitely something that we need to investigate. I was 18 at the time. I can't deny things like this are happening.
I just want to understand what you mean. You said your roommate was at the door?
Yes, the roommate in my dream was the human being at the door a year later.
So, like, kind of like deja vu?
Kind of like a premonition dream.
Okay. So you saw your roommate in the dream before.
Or I met her a year later. I was still in high school.
You didn't know. Basically, they weren't your roommate when you saw them in their dream. It was somebody you didn't know who they were, and then a year later, that person became your roommate.
Like, oh, you're my roommate, right?
Gotcha.
So I was like, okay, so this is something I need to investigate. So the, as I'm going about, you're in college, and that's kind of when you're experimenting with everything. You're like, now I'm free. I don't have somebody looking over my shoulder. And I can just go everywhere and do all the things. In New England, we have, if you want to study the occult or at least know about what is happening paranormally, your first stop is not usually the Bible, even though that's actually one of the most paranormal books with specific directions in the world that exists. There are actual spells in the Bible, and people don't think of it that way.
Spells?
Yes. Do you not think? Because a working is a changing of energy. Any working, and I'm deviating from the story, but any working is a change of energy in the material universe that we live in. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when we're talking about a working, we're talking about chants or things done, chants or herbal workings or anything done by traditional African religions. We're talking about, Celtic witchcraft in Ireland. That's a working. Any of those things.
Jay from Ireland.
Any of those things are considered workings. It's just a change of energy. When you get 1,000 people saying a prayer at the same time for the same goal, to do the same thing, you are changing the material energy of the world. You are actually taking a piece of what it's giving you, what God is giving you, that beautiful little section of you that is more powerful than the skin that we carry on our bodies. And it's saying, I'm going to give a little piece of that with my neighbor and my neighbor and my neighbor, and hopefully you're going to do that for good. That's a working.
I've only heard of, what does a working mean? I've heard that term.
It makes people think of like
Sabrina. It's like a negative connotation.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But actually they're called workings more than often than not because they're work. There's a recipe involved. There are prayers that are attached. There are deities or procedures or entities that need to be brought in to influence what you're doing. These are all workings. These are things that people spend years learning how to do, memorizing how to do consistently and repeatedly. Because if you are a priest, not necessarily a Christian priest, but a priest of any religion, you need to be able to do this for anybody that's following you, anybody that's coming for help, because isn't that your job? Isn't that your job to cater to the people, to help them be better, to help them evolve, to help them work through the challenges that they have in the material world that we're in? That is your job, to be a servant. But you have to memorize all of these things. So if you're going to become a spiritual doctor, that's a lot of work. That's a lot of memorization. These are workings. You need to know your tools, you need to know your language, you need to know your craft. So that's why they're called workers.
Okay.
I had a question. Tiffany, you were talking about, so you had these things happening as you were growing up that you were basically kind of like, oh, this is a sign, for lack of a better term. Would you agree?
Right.
Okay. So I'm sure, like, I've had things happen where, I'm like, it's a glitch in the matrix or whatever. I just disregarded or whatever. What was it that kind of steered you to be like, okay, this isn't just kind of like a random thing. This is, I think there's something deeper. What drove you to kind of delve into that? And how do you delve into that?
Okay, so, well, I guess my first thing I had to do was I had to consciously disassociate myself with Christianity because I had to give myself the conscious okay to research this, because I wouldn't have even made that step if I hadn't said, okay, clearly where I'm from, where I live, this is not okay. So what area of the world is this okay? So I started going to occult stores, and I would go there, and I would go to stores, and I've been to Salem many times. I've studied with many different people. And then I realized that all of these places had the Quran, they had books they had the Bible, they had, Jewish texts, and I realized that the Word of God comes in many forms and he has many names. But for me, when I was at my worst, when I was at my most vulnerable, I've always asked Jesus to help me come back. For me, that was my sign, kind of, that this always has to be a part of my life.
It's being Christianity.
Is that belief in Jehovah and Jesus Christ? Yes.
Okay.
Regardless of the other things that I do, which I do believe is a gift. If you believe in the book, you have to believe that there are seers and that there are people that are blessed and given access to the other side, maybe more than other people. We all have the gift.
Can I ask a question? I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to ask a question. So, like, I'm trying to. I have very little knowledge of this world because I'm scared of it. Prophecy, right, in the Bible and now, is basically like a dream, or God gives you a vision or something like that, which is pretty much accepted in the church. If a prophet says, this is going to happen, and it comes to happen, you go, oh yeah, God done told us, right? How or is there any difference in the prophecy and what you do, or do you feel like it kind of works in the same way?
I'm going to say they kind of sit together on the same bus, but they're not necessarily the same thing. Because my day-to-day is consulting with people on their life, on things that are happening right now with them. So this is the situation you're in. This is what you tell me is wrong, but this is what my cards are saying is wrong. This is what the base issue is. Very rarely when we come in, or when people come in and say, this is my problem, is that really their problem? And that's how the cards help me. They help fill in the blanks that people either don't want to admit to, can't see because they're in the middle of a situation. Hindsight's always 20/20, but when you're in the middle of a situation, sometimes it's just not clear. Or it actually gives me whatever motive is that they are there for, what they're trying to accomplish.
Okay, can we go to the basics? I actually don't know I have like an idea. I've seen like tarot card readers on movies and stuff like that, but I don't actually know what a reading is, what happens, how. So can you walk me through what it is that you do? Like I guess a reading.
So someone will call me, or someone will come in and they'll say, I need a reading. I sit them down. I will say to them, how long do you want this reading to be? Because that's going to entail how in depth we can go. And usually I give them some Florida water.
What?
Florida water.
Florida
water.
What is that?
It's
Florida water.
Yeah, Florida water. It's like it's a perfumed cleansing water that kind of refreshes you and keeps you a little more spiritually balanced.
Okay, can I ask you?
Calms you down.
Now, why Florida water versus
The herbs
Oregon?
actually put into that's the southern term of it. It's a perfumed water.
Oh,
Kind
okay.
of like infused, like cucumber infused.
Sure. No,
I'm trying to.
No, actually,
Does it have alcohol in it or
I've
no?
never. Yes, actually, there is. There's not liquor, no, but alcohol, yes, there is. So anyway, I give them that. They sit down, and I say to them, "How would you like to use your time?" This gives me an idea of what they think their reason is for being here and what we need to work on. I say a protective prayer to myself, and I say protective prayer over my client, and I am praying to God. I'm not praying to anybody else. I'm praying to the highest power, because he can protect from whatever else might be opening while we're talking.
Mm-hmm.
So we do that. We go through a reading. Hold on. Since you have no idea, let me just show you. So
I low-key just got scared when you pulled those out. I ain't gonna hold you. As a kid, we were like, "This
these
is."
are actual cards.
She's like, Kev. She's like, Kev. Let me just grab one card for you. Oh, what's this Grim Reaper? What does that mean?
Low-key, my heart started beating fast. I was like,
Those are cards, and it's they're a little over 20 years old. I've had those since I was
those cards are.
19.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I take my cards out, I do a spread. Now, a spread is a very organized, structural way to lay out cards, which will say, this is the situation that you're in. These are the things working for you. These are the things working against you. These are the things that, this is how you perceive the situation. And then this is how the situation actually is. And this is a estimated outcome of what's happening right now. So when you start learning how to read the tarot, it's, they're very structured. There's there's star layouts, there's the Celtic cross, there's all these things where where you learn them so you can apply them to different situations. The longer you read cards, the more you kind of throw the rules up in the air, because, you learn the rules so you can break them. And then you develop the spreads that work for you. I'm also an author, so I tend to read left to right. So for me, I lay out as a square. So it would be like 3 rows of 4, 4 rows of 3, depending on the situation. That's just how I read. And each card has a very specific meaning. So when you start out, you memorize all of the cards, 74, 75 cards, something like that. You memorize all of the card meanings individually, okay? As they lay out, as particular cards are matched together in the spread, their meanings change or adjust, or you get more of a full picture of what it means. So if I pull a card and I pull the death card, people are going to go, well, am I dying? First of all, that's never what that means. It just means something that's happening in your life must come to an end in order for something else to grow that's better. It's just telling you that is the cycle of your situation that you're in.
Tiffany, can I ask two questions? You said that what was the verbiage you used? You learn the rules so you can break the rules.
Mm-hmm.
So what's like an example of, and this will tie into the second question. What's an example of like the universal, I guess, rules of reading? And if the exact same cards are, let's say 5 cards are laid out, is every tarot reader going to view those or read those the same?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. And how about this? If you get a very young tarot reader, or if you get a very new tarot reader, they will tell you the textbook way that those cards play out.
Okay.
What they're not taking into account, and as you get more seasoned, and as you tap more into who you are and you know what your capabilities are, one, you're reading the person across from you. And I will readily admit that a tarot consultation does take in things like expressions and demeanor and psychology and all of those things. All of those things are brought into account because you need to know how to deliver to this person. How do you deliver this information to this person so that they receive it? So yes, if you go in and you read the cards and you don't take it to your client, yeah, they're all probably going to sound a little bit the same. But no, I could do a spread for you and you could have the same 5 cards, and then I could do a spread for Kev and you would have the same 5 cards. But because of your situations and me as a reader, they're going to mean totally different things. Something that would be viewed as a threat in your world could be, it would say something is threatening to you in this particular situation. The biggest threat in the world to Kev is a family threat. That would not apply to you. This would be a totally different thing. But the threat is still there. So what is it?
Mm.
And that's what the cards are going to tell you. So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So you have, how many cards was it? 20, you said?
No, 74.
Okay. So when you are reading someone, and please do not take this as like I'm being joking. I really don't know.
No, I don't.
Like, do you shuffle the cards? Do the cards tell you which ones to pull out? Like, how do you know?
Pull one from behind their ear. Hey, look at that.
No, I don't know how that works at all.
Well, actually, I usually have everybody shuffle their own cards. I give them back, I spread them out, and then they pick them. This is your reading, not my reading.
So do they pick the card like face up, or do they pick the
face down? They give them to me, and I lay them out. I lay them out facing me because I'm the one that's reading them. So I don't pick the cards usually, but it's Corona life.
Yeah.
So, nobody's touching anybody's stuff. So on that note, I will shuffle for people, and I will pick as they go.
So do people just like take the first 5? Do some people pick from?
No, I spread them out. And then people pick them, at random.
From the table.
However spirit takes you. That's how.
I'm just saying, Kev's going to be in there and be like, bam! This card. Here's my question for you, Tiffany. Okay, you mentioned that the death card, I'm sure that's the stereotype of everybody that thinks that when they think of tarot card, they're like, the death card, that means you're going to die. And you're like, that isn't what it means at all. When you have done readings, or as you're doing readings, have you ever done a reading where you have gotten a vision, or I don't know how you would, a working, I guess you'd say?
No, not a working. A vision would be more accurate. Go ahead.
Okay, have you ever had where you've gotten a vision where you're like, however you say it, you have a vision that this person, something very bad is going to happen, or you see death or whatever, and how do you relay that to the person, or how do you relay that?
That's happened to me once. It happened to me in the most unfortunate situation. I'm in New Orleans. That's where I'm based. My shop is based. And I was actually at the convention center working for a gathering. There were about, I don't know, maybe 1,000 people. You know, it was a business convention, and people come in for readings because they're fun. And I did this quick reading for this gentleman, and people, you know, want something lighthearted. And if you do a 3-card spread, that's usually like 6 or 7 minutes. It gives you something very lighthearted and sweet to tell somebody, and then they go about their life and they feel good about themselves and they go have a drink.
Oh no.
So I did this spread for this gentleman, and nothing came up in that way. I was like, hold a minute, and I delved a little deeper. So basically what it was saying was that his wife was in the process of transitioning. Unbeknownst to me, his wife was dying of cancer at home. And I was not informing him of the case. What it told me, or what the important things were that was around that was the information he needed to know, was 1, don't feel guilty. 2, laugh with her because that's what she wants. 3, when she's gone, be happy. Understand that that's all she ever wanted from you, with her, or without her. That was actually the point of the reading. Unfortunately, it came up in a big convention center with a band and 1,000 other people and business.
Yeah, I'm like, how do you keep a poker face? You're like, oh well, let's see, Cardinal. Oh my God!
I mean, none of this was information that he knew. None of this was information that he didn't know. But it wasn't the death part. That was the information that was, you know, that was useful to him, I guess.
Right.
And he, you know, he cried and nodded and.
Just a thing. I mean, because you know,
like, how do you keep a straight face? Visualizing a young reader being like, never mind. Bye.
The tarot card reader that has no poker face. Well, this should be fun. First card, death.
But yes, that's one of the benefits of time and experience.
Yeah.
Okay, so I actually have a question. So in the Bible, I want to say it was Saul visited a medium and he got in trouble by God. So I know a lot of Christian people watching this and even in the comments are like, I don't know about this. Like the Bible talks about spirits, the Holy Spirit, demons, mediums, like all of that is in the Bible. That's like, whether you agree with tarot or not, the Bible talks about
tarot's a tool. Mediumship is the over thing. Tarot's just a tool.
Yeah.
People do mediumship with cowrie shells, tea leaves. It depends what culture, what country.
Oh, that's what reading the tea leaves means?
Yes, that's a mediumship. Yes.
Oh, I never knew that. I just thought it was like a
grounds. And especially interesting enough, especially in ATRs or African traditional religions, when people are doing divinations, they're using things that are local to the environment. Leaves, coffee grounds, cowrie shells, things like that. You're using
like the same thing as like reading a palm?
A palm, well, no.
Is there beef between tarot readers and palm? Like, man, palm ain't know nothing.
No. Like, okay, so
y'all ain't real. We really about this. We got cards.
Palmistry is its own discipline. That's a whole other thing. But we're all kind of braided into each other. We're like kind of like a family. So you've got astrology, numerology, palmistry, you know, tarot readers. We're kind of like a family. The more you know about particular skill sets or tools, the better you can be at whatever your chosen tool is. This is my tool because this is what's easiest for me. It's the only tool I could find in Massachusetts. That's it. People weren't busting out cowrie shells in Massachusetts.
What are you saying? Calorie?
Hmm?
You saying what shells?
Cowrie shells.
What is that?
How do you spell it?
Cowrie.
Cowrie. Huh.
Cowrie shells?
Cowrie shells. They're
Oh, I see it.
I have
No,
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that's
I
what
had
they
a-
were called.
with the tarot cards.
Well, hold on, Jay. Hold on. We got to go back.
My bad. Sorry.
The medium question. Are you considered a medium? Is there a difference between you and a medium?
Mediumship sometimes occurs when I work for myself, but I would not consider myself a medium 100% of the time.
So medium meaning you can talk to people who are not alive.
Yes.
Okay.
So
You're go ahead.
So basically, I can do an entire reading and not have anything happen. We have a joke at the shop and we kind of call it clicking out, and you know that something is now. To me, God has allowed something to let me explain a situation to somebody in a way that they will hear it. Okay. Usually when this has happened, this is an ancestor or an elder. And whatever words I have to say are so important that they need to be verbalized in this way that's so familiar to you, that's so embedded in your heart, it has to be delivered this way in order for you to receive it for your own good. Whether you believe it or not is kind of irrelevant, but you need to feel it. People aren't going to take information criticizing how they've been running their life for 30 years from, some rando that you just met, when basically you're breaking down or you're saying
is that you,
you're
Ken?
at fault or you need to do this. Sometimes some messages are just hard to hear, but they need to be heard.
I want to ask a question. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
So tarot cards, do you know the history, or where did tarot cards come from? How was that decided on versus, whatever else, and who made them?
The oldest cards that have been found were from I want to say the 15th century. And this was from a French religious man. And because of the images on the card, he equated them with Egyptian sigils, and there was a power and a mysticism in these particular cards. So those are the oldest ones that have been found. Before that, I'm sure they've been around since we had paper. When we didn't have paper, there are other things that are used. Like I said, whatever nature gives us or whatever God gives us at our disposal to understand the world around us, those are the things that we use. But the oldest set of tarot cards that we know is about the 15th century.
K-Mac had a good question, kind of piggybacks off that. Is every tarot deck the same?
No. Oh my gosh, no. Oh, you can get specialized tarot decks that come out every single day. Google tarot decks and you'll see you'll see tarot decks with your favorite musicians on them. You see
I mean but are the cards like the
for archetypes? Yes, they are the same.
Oh, okay. So they're all 70,
your archetypes
72?
are the same, yes.
Okay.
You have you're going to have pentacles, and pentacles are usually prosperity, income, financial. You have your wands. They could call them wands, they could call them sticks, but basically it's the same thing. That is barrier structure, boundaries. Then we have your pentacles, wands, swords. Swords are conflict. They are struggle. There's something you need to kind of put your head down and work through so you can get to the other side type of situation. And then there are cups. And cups are your emotions. That's your psychic self. That is your vulnerable self. That's the part of you that that loves and wants to be loved and has stripped away the ego surrounding that. So if you're getting a lot of cups, usually you want to discuss, or there is a discussion regarding relationships in your life.
Kev got 2 cups. All right. You had a question? I got her. Tiffany laughed. Come on, Tiffany.
You got her earlier. Oh my God. I was not expecting that, Jay. You caught me off. You caught me off guard. So how do I phrase this? Okay. So there's a lot of mysticism around tarot card reading. How do you reconcile your you said earlier that your tarot card reading is a gift. How do you reconcile that with your faith? There's a lot of people in the comments, and I'm sure when this goes live, who see these as 2 different things. There's Christianity, and then there's psychic readings, mediums, astrology. Yeah. But, you know, I be on Twitter a lot. On Twitter, there's people who are Christian tarot card readers, astrologists, Christians who go to psychics, who have readings done.
I live in Louisiana. 90% of the people that sit in front of me are going to a Christian church or a Catholic church down the street. Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding.
Ken's in trouble.
Like, what? How could? Well, okay. You know what? I'm not going to assume that skills that have been put on this earth to make a very hard life easier and not being incorporated by people of several faiths all the time is hubris.
Hubris.
And that is what is usually the fall of man. Pride.
That's Bible. Pride cometh before the fall.
And if you want to talk about something like that in relation, if you look at Babylon and Isaiah, there are specific references to take all of your astrologers, take all of your readers. They are the weight of that information is weighing you down. Put that down and listen to the Lord, because I told you already what is happening.
Somebody had a real good comment, Tiffany. I hate to interrupt you, but listen. So Dana said, if you're a Christian, then yes, you've taken part in rituals, i.e. communion, drinking Jesus' blood, eating his flesh in remembrance of him. Everyone just calm down. Someone on Twitter made this exact point. I'm going to just be honest with you, Tiff. Don't be upset. Be my friend.
I can't possibly.
Okay. So I was one of those people like, oh, that sounds like devil. And they was like, do you do communion? And you'd be like, drink my blood. And I'd be like, this is my body. And I'd be like, mm-hmm. And it makes sense within that, in what I believe. But a lot of times, and this is me just being honest, if it's not in the framework of what I've been taught, then it's the devil, i.e. Black is king. A lot of people are like, that sounds like devil. And it's very similar things, but just not, if you ain't drinking, if you ain't doing communion, talking about Jesus, then you ain't saved. What are your thoughts on it? Because I never thought of it as a ritual because it's something I grew up doing, if that makes sense.
That's one of the most powerful ritualistic symbolism things that you could possibly do. You are literally taking in the body of the Lord. Really? Okay, then. The fact that you're reverent about it and a lot of people agree with you at the same time doesn't make it not a ritual. Doesn't make it not a working. You were all looking to do the same thing at the same time for the same reason.
A lot of people in the comments too are also mentioning how people always be like, "Oh, he Aquarius. I don't mess with Aquarius."
Right. Oh my God. Yes, that's very true. That's very true. I don't have with them. No. Right. That's very true. Mm-hmm. But
Now,
you know, astrology though.
Here's a question for you. So we knew going into this, we talked about this beforehand too, Tiffany, about how you may be viewed by Christians. That's a great comment. Do you get it also from the tarot readers society or side of it, where they're like, you can't be a Christian and a tarot reader, or are they just kind of like, oh, okay,
That's a good question, Jay. And I hate you.
I love that question.
That's a good question, you jerk. And you had another good one, and people in the comments were saying it. I was like, I'm not going to tell them.
I was like this. I was winking at him. I was like, I hope you
that was such a good one. You got beef on both sides. You a Crip and a Blood.
Okay, so I work in
we hear it.
My shop of residence is in Crescent City Conjure, which is a hoodoo shop in New Orleans. Hoodoo is not a religion. Before we go with that, and it's also not voodoo. So anyway, we'll if you want to ask me later, that we can answer that. But in this particular shop, it's basically a supply store for spirituality. So if you want to get your 7-day candles, you want to light your candle on your altar for your ancestors, you want to get your herbs, you want to get your frankincense, your myrrh, your incense, all of those supplies, they're all
not like sage, like burning sage.
Sage too.
That the same idea?
Yes. It's a supply. It's an herb. It's a supply. Also, people think that is a cleansing, and one, we really shouldn't be using white sage because that's an indigenous American person.
Yeah, white. You don't want none of that white.
There's a different. Shut up, Jay. So
in Hollingsworth.
But people, that's a whole thing on sage. Sage is not necessarily a cleanser. It is to sanctify a location.
Oh wow! People they don't be know what they be talking about. They usually do stuff they seen online.
I usually use Nag Champa.
The incense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
I just stopped it. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I've been eating sausage.
I like it. I can't help it. I like it.
No. Let me answer.
Okay, sorry.
So I will, I'll be in the shop and I'll be helping people and da. And the question is usually, do you practice, or what do you practice? And people practice, hoodoo, voodoo, Santeria, the Yoruba religions, Ifa, all of the, and they say all of this stuff, and then I'm like, well, I'm a Christian, so da, and then everybody goes, and then they get really like, oh. And
really?
Like, yeah, it's very much like sometimes.
No, why do you think that is?
Okay, so just like Christianity looks down on heathens sometimes look down on Christianity. It's not any different.
They're like, oh, y'all hoity-toity with your Christianity. You think it's special?
Well, I mean,
hoity-toity.
It's not that much different. And I think
so who is your people that understand you?
The people that work at my shop understand me. The people that love me understand me. I think that, and if you're asking where my village is, I have to go 1,400 miles from the place I was born to find my village.
Is that New Orleans? Okay. What? I never even heard the term hoodoo. I've only heard voodoo. What is hoodoo?
Hoodoo is they're folk practices from the west coast of Africa that went directly from the coast of the West Coast to the East Coast of the United States without having that third leg into the Caribbean and South America when we think of the slavery triangle. Okay. So what happened was that, the indigenous people from the West Coast were dropped off in, if you've ever heard of the Gullah people or South Carolina, they are direct descendants of those people.
Like Gullah Gullah Island?
What they practice is hoodoo. What?
Like Gullah Gullah Island?
Yes. So what they practice is hoodoo. So what they're doing is they are using the herbs, the herbs, the animals, the earth, the stones, whatever, to affect the material world around them. It does not mean they're worshiping a deity, because there are no deities in hoodoo. You're not worshiping anything. What you're doing is using the energy of the living things around you to change the material world that you have. A lot of times, especially, Southern Black folks, we'll say something or we'll do something and we'll be like, that's an old wives' tale. That old wives' tale is actually hoodoo. You put a knife under your bed to cut pain. I'm sure people can come up with other things that their grandmother told them. They were like, no, that doesn't work. No, actually, it works.
Really?
Now, I got a question for you, Tiffany. So for those that don't know, I know Tiffany off of this. Like, Tiffany and I are friends, and so I know, and she's from Boston, and I know her as a person. I'm wondering, Tiffany, when you go into talking to somebody that maybe that isn't coming to visit you for a reading or whatever, or you decide you'll let them know that you're a tarot reader, do you start out almost kind of with a wall because you assume how they're going to react to it? Because that's comments people are commenting here that you were up front, you were kind of standoffish, and I know you though, so I know how you are, and so I'm wondering if you are kind of like, okay, I got to get ready for the drama.
If I'm outside of my comfort space, yes. Yes.
And I know you are doing this.
Yeah, so let everybody, I just want to apologize if my demeanor was off-putting when I started. It's just, I was in my head trying to think, okay, there's 1,000 ways that I could be like jump from behind, and I really wanted to be ready to answer. You
were like, so what's up? Yep, good. I'll read you for Phil and for tarot. He's sitting on deck. What's popping?
She's like,
ask you little questions, and then what's up? Read you your Miranda rights.
She's like, oh, you're gonna get read. Go ahead, Kev.
So this show isn't that, and I can't speak for the comments and what people do. I think what I've learned in the last couple months, the one of the things you don't want to question, a lot of people don't even want to question, is their spirituality, right? It is very scary to venture into things that you have been taught a certain way your whole life, and anything different than that. Like I said, I was taught, and this is when Jay texted me this, I was like, I don't know, but maybe okay, I don't know. And I've been reading a lot, over the last couple of years. Honestly, a lot of Beyonce's stuff, Lemonade, Black is King. I read like think pieces, and apparently there's a lot of nods to African religions, and I can't think of the water. It starts with an O. The water. What was it?
Oshun.
Yeah. So apparently, in a lot of Beyonce stuff, there's a lot of nods to African religions and traditions that are not known to me, but a lot of people know about them, and I'd be like, I'm not aware. And then the Christian people, we like, no, that's the devil. But then you talk about like even baptism, which I didn't think about it until you said the communion thing. That's also a ritual, like to be, dipped in water and cleansed and washed. People were like, bro, y'all be talking about baptism, but you don't realize they're very
an initiation. What? It's an initiation. People get initiated in Ifa all the time. Well, not all the time, but or Santeria or whatever witchcraft that you're in. You have to be initiated. You have to be worthy and knowledgeable enough to be part of the group.
Yeah, and even like you feel the spirit of God. Like I definitely felt like I felt the spirit of God or the Holy Ghost speaking in tongues, like even shouting in church. I remember when I was in college and my teacher, I took an Afram class and they were talking about how shouting, like, the dance that we do, it comes from like African religions, like, and when I took this is so funny. Me and Jay were doing a comedy show in Yakima. We're like, on the count of 3, we gonna shout. We had a white dude and we were playing with him like, hey, you gonna shout. People had already been shouting, like we thought we knew. So we're like 1, 2, 3. And he was like, ah! And I was we laughed so hard.
Like somebody stepped on his toe.
He literally thought, you want me to shout? And we were like, no. We haven't been to a black church. You don't know what we're talking about when you shout. So, and I remember I had a friend, I took a white dude to church one time and people were falling out from the Holy Ghost shouting. He was like, what is going on here? I've been to church before. I was like, oh, that's just the Holy Ghost. He was like, what is the Holy Ghost? People passing out, falling, shaking, spitting up. Like, there'd be a whole lot going on.
If you notice, there are certain people that will happen to all the time or often, and other people never happens.
Mm.
And those people are usually people that are more just naturally have an inclination to be open.
Mm.
And also, like I said, I do have experience in the church from growing up. When shoes come off and jackets flying and clothes and anything that stops you from being connected with the earth is actually stopping that connection with God. That getting that crazy, dancing, making noise, being joyful, and not having shame, that is getting closer to God.
So I just want to make a clarification. Lilac said the problem isn't the ritual, it's who the ritual is being done unto. That's the thing that's kind of the point that I'm making. Like, we say rituals are wrong, but only when they're not our rituals.
Right.
That the stuff that we do, we don't even qualify that as rituals because we've done it. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that, it's just, I don't know. It's just, and I'm talking about myself as much as anyone else. Like, I was that person like, this sound like devil to me. And then people said that, and I was like, oh, baptism, I guess if you, and even like the stuff they do this in remembrance of me, like, it's all cool because I believe it. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's kind of the thing about religion in general. Like, when you believe it and you believe in God, you take it all in. And we always just want to offer respect to people like you. And even if you were believed in Hindu or whatever, or Muslim, religion is sacred. And, like in India, they say the sacred cow, like they don't kill cows. Cows walk freely because, those things are sacred. Even to people who are Greek, in fraternities, those symbols and those sounds and those colors are sacred. Some Greek people will fight you over you making their sound or their symbol or their dance because they've had to go through something to get there. So religion is very similar in that way, where it's sacred to the people, and anything that challenges that is like challenging to the core of who you are. Like, I've been a Christian as long as I can remember. When people don't, they say it's not real or God's not real, that's like challenging me to my core,
Actually, to you, that's challenging your actual existence.
Literally, Tiffany, it is my actual existence. And I remember when I was a kid, and I got in trouble for this, and I've talked about this a lot. I've talked about when, I asked, how do we know this kid in China isn't going to heaven when he believes, in Buddhism the same way his parents taught him? You're teaching me. And they just told me to shut up. They literally told me to. I was in Sunday school. They're like, man, shut up. Or Vacation Bible School. They're like, just shut up. So anyway, I got completely off track.
I was gonna say that's a great question, Kev. Anyway, so Tiffany, here's a question for you. What is the worst experience you've had doing a reading, and what is your absolute best experience doing a reading?
Worst experience.
That dude,
I was gonna say maybe
conversation of his life.
That's I've been doing this for over 20 years, so that's like I'd have to go kind of through the Rolodex. I can tell you my happiest experiences doing readings are usually women on the brink of love or just have fallen in love. Those are beautiful readings. Also, the readings where women of color, when I channel that, the female energy that is behind them, or whatever their female ancestry is, and I begin to reconnect them to the fact that they are not alone in the world, and they cry. They cry, I want to just be crying. But to me, those are the most powerful things because they're a reflection of me. And sometimes we need to, especially in this country, be reminded that we're the center of a lot of things. Black women, just in a sense of power. We innately walk with a sense of power in this country.
Is that the room that you do the readings in?
Yes.
Is that guy on the outside talking like that during the reading? Like you're like, I think there might be some health issues. Hey, we need more printering. We need to hurry. Yeah, we're running out of ink. Yeah, so it looks like you got about a week.
Hold on for a second. Hold on 1 second, okay?
All right.
Jason, shut up!
Oh, I'm just thinking like this guy's like, yeah, she's not the love of your life. Hey, can you go move my car? They're gonna ticket me. I got like 20 minutes. Tiffany. Oh,
Yo, Jay, you are out of control, bro.
I couldn't. Oh,
He's our shop manager, and he keeps our world in order.
He is having the conversation of his life. So I told Reggie, I'm not going to you give me a full refund, okay? And if you ain't gonna give me a refund, then I'm gonna have it over to Tiffany. She gonna read your Miranda rights. I mean, now Bobby Caldwell, he come in here 1980, maybe 89. He don't come in here, and I said, Bobby, you got to go see Tiffany if you want to have a good career. Like, bro, he is in the room talking.
Yeah, he's just talking about the person. You see that girl's hair? What is she thinking? I can hear you. Oh man,
this is a question we got a couple of times, Tiffany.
Yeah.
Can you read yourself, or do you have readings done on yourself by other people?
I like to have other people read me because if I read myself and it's good, I can't take it. I can't internalize it. If it's bad, I'm like, oh yeah, that's absolutely gonna happen. Like we got that. Yeah, okay, I saw that.
Wow, yeah. That's crazy that you. I could see people be like, the bad for sure, the good, no way.
No, this.
I got a good one.
You got to read a book called The Big Leap. I've been telling people about it.
The Big Leap.
Thank you.
The Big Leap.
Oh, Leap. Oh yeah. I remember you talking about that.
Yeah.
A two-parter, Tiffany. Thoughts on Miss Cleo?
Why? Why did you eat
Hold on. Stop, Tiffany. Let me finish the second part. And what's your view on like? There's got to be people that you read that you're like, or not that you read, but that you see somebody giving a reading, another tarot reader, where you're like, this guy's full of, I'm keeping it clean, Kev. This guy's full of crap. How do you? So that's my question. Thoughts on the Miss Cleo or people like them, so to speak, that are, like, call me now and I'll read you through the phone or whatever. And then somebody that you watch in your heart, you're like, this dude is a scammer.
Make your cash, I guess.
Dang, all right.
I mean, this is not a situation where I have a right to judge anybody's validity. So I'm not gonna do that. But I'm not going to be offended if somebody says that they can read tarot well and someone wants to take advantage of that. I will say one thing, and I'll put this out to everybody. If something is too easy to locate, it's probably not that authentic.
What do you mean by that?
I mean that if you don't need to ask somebody first, I'm going to say your quality is probably pretty iffy.
Wait, say that again. If you don't need to ask someone.
Somebody. If you don't need, if these type of things, these type of services are usually like word of mouth. Somebody's aunt does it, did it, took advantage. It was a great experience. So she told her daughter and the daughter told a friend and this stuff is not usually just put on the side of the road for people to partake of.
Okay.
Usually it takes a little bit of effort for people to, I'm just saying, usually it takes a little bit of effort for someone to find a good reader. But that's like anything. If you want to find a good psychiatrist, if you want to find a good mechanic,
Okay.
Good
and wait, hold on. And Miss Cleo, thoughts?
Like I said, she made her money, right?
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead, Kev. Sorry.
You said when you were young, you were not as good or as experienced and a good reader. What makes a person good or bad? Is there something you can practice? Is it experience? Is it confidence?
It's experience. Confidence, the fake it till you make it is great because it allows the recipient or the client to feel comfortable. If you are giving off the sense that you kind of don't know what's going on, they're not giving you nothing. There's absolutely no trading of energy. There's no openness. There's no authenticity into what they're giving you. That's when you get the whole prove to me that you can do this. And it's so, you have to kind of, you have to feel some sense of self and that you're bringing value to the table. Whether you're doing it for 2 years or whether you've been doing it for 20 years, you are bringing some value to the table for somebody else. So,
Courtney had a great question. Courtney Johnson. Click it, Kev.
Okay,
Please.
Let me find it. Hold on.
I can read it as you're trying to find it. How can someone who's interested in the spiritual world or being in tune with energy get started?
Research, the internet, being in a location where people that are knowledgeable about whatever aspect of spirituality you want to research are in. Ask people if you want to. If you want to be initiated in something or if you want to learn more about something, you're going to ask a professor. You're going to ask a professional. This isn't something where you just go kind of stand on the corner and it's going to come to you. You got to go out there and go get it.
Get it. Get your time. I have a question.
Sorry.
Have you ever done one and then you'd be like, I don't know, bro, I ain't really got nothing today. I'm kind of off my game.
Yeah, of course it does.
You have bad days?
Yes, of course I have bad days. That's okay. First of all, if you do the level of prep work that you should be doing before and after you do readings, okay, so we got spiritual baths every week. You got, you're praying, you're doing meditation, you're doing protective bubbles around yourself and your clients. Then you got to walk out in the world, and the world is garbage. So taking on that energy. So even though you always want to be 100% for your people, that's, sometimes Sometimes I don't want to be bothered with your problems. My problems are more important. I don't care. I just don't care.
People are like, do you give a refund on bad days or bad readings?
No, actually, yes.
Oh.
If we're not, if we go in, if we're reading for 5 or 10 minutes and you're like, I'm not feeling this, I'll be like, cool. And I don't need to give a refund because you pay after services rendered.
Mm.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you confident with yours?
Pay first.
You what now?
I would never ask somebody to pay first.
Interesting.
When I tell my jokes, you better pay first. If you don't like it, I already got your money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bay Area Black Comedy Competition. I remember.
Yeah, no, this is also if people pay afterwards, gratuity is usually involved. So
Okay. All right, Tiffany.
Jasmine, I'm sorry, Janae said,
No.
do you experience counter transference issues when doing readings? I don't know what that word is.
That's what it's for. That's what spiritual baths are for. That's what the protective bubble is for. Also, you need to be grounded. It's easier if you take your shoes off and you're literally on the floor, where you have a sense of grounding, of being able to let energy go through you and go out of you. Ideally, you would not retain any of that energy, whether it be good or bad. Ideally, you wouldn't, but that's not always the case. So yes,
So have you ever had a reading where somebody had bad energy and you're just like, I'm about to take the rest of the day off?
I've cut a shift short so many times. I can't even. I'm like, nah.
You're like, you got the devil in you for real.
Like, play it. No. People don't have the devil in them. They have their cells in them. If the devil came into my room, you wouldn't see me.
Would you call Jesus?
Call Jesus. I would be next to Jesus because I
Jesus.
no.
Who do you think that is talking in the other room?
That's just Randy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's there have been times where people have been too much, or people have been being attacked, and it's draining. That happens. That is
This is related to this. Multiple people have asked if you believe in demons, evil spirits, and can. Okay. All right, Tiffany. I'm just asking the question. Gee.
There has to be a balance. The universe, the world cannot exist without something in the negative and something in the positive. The only thing about the difference between the natural world and our world as we know it is the natural world has no moral weight and measure to it. It just is what it is. It doesn't worry about being fair. You can burn down an entire forest with all the animals in it. Nobody's, the deer's aunt is not like, I'm so sorry, they're dead, and this is so unfair. They're just like, we made it. And
Deer tripping, bro. You hate to see it.
I'm just saying.
If somebody on here is interested in getting into this either for themselves or then maybe they think they have a gift that they want to explore, can somebody contact you, like email you maybe, or like if they want guidance?
Sure. My email is tiffanyMoniqueTarot@gmail.com. If you want a reading or have questions, I am at Crescent City Conjure in New Orleans. I'm on Royal Street. There's my IG. All right. Thank you, Cat James. Thank you.
Happy on it.
Cat
Right.
James, hardest working woman in show business, I say.
On it.
They always say that about her.
And so you can, ask me a question, in the DMs. That sounds weird, but yeah.
Do you do readings virtually or they have to be in person?
Oh, I absolutely do readings virtually, especially now. It's I have to.
You ain't trying to get sick.
Yeah,
I don't have any more, Jay, unless you do.
I do not.
Tiffany, thank you so much for sharing your story and your life with us and being open to chatting with us. Jay, thank you for being utterly ridiculous. And thank you guys for watching. If you have an interesting job or lifestyle choice or anything like that, hit up admin at Kev on Stage, and you might be sitting in this StreamYard with us one day. God bless you. God keep you. We'll see you at the conference. Thank you, Tiffany.
Bye, Tiffany. Thank you.
All right, Jay.